Well, let me start with the challenges facing European Union, and we are here to discuss the security issues of the Eurasian continent generally, and the challenges are different, multi-dimensional. We have hot conflicts, we have frozen conflicts, and at this backdrop, stability of small countries is extremely important. This is why I would like to bring Georgia's case as a country which strives to be member of European family and Euro-Atlantic community, country which is building a stable future, despite all the challenges, and the challenges are quite serious. Georgia's territorial integrity is violated. Two of our historic territories is occupied by Russia, but even at this backdrop, we try to stay consistent, first of all, with our foreign policy goals, and also constructive to prepare a ground for a long-term solution of our problems. Georgia signed the association agreement very recently with European Union, and part of that agreement is deep and comprehensive free trade area agreement. Our integration with NATO structures is increasing. We are part of peacekeeping operations in Afghanistan, one of the biggest contributors. We are participating in Central Africa peacekeeping operations with European Union, and we are becoming step by step gradually part of European order. This is not a loud word, because Georgia is building a country with systems which is closely in line with European standards. But regional cooperation remains one of the cornerstones of the stability in Southern Caucasus. And there we have excellent regional projects linking Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey through the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway project. We have new opportunities arising from the Silk Road Economic Belt, One Road initiative, linking Europe and Asia. And I should say that Georgia is the Christian country on the most eastern flank of European Union and Europe. We are a European country historically, and we are a country which has free trade agreements with all of our neighbors, with European Union, and very recently we finalized free trade negotiations with China. So we are a country with 3.8 million population, having free economy, open economy. Just several days ago, a Heritage Foundation published the new results of rankings, and Georgia is 13th freest economy in the world. We are number 16 in doing business ranking according to World Bank. We have very strong positions in democracy rankings, and we are step by step again improving according to our association agreement guidelines which we have. The most important thing is that our foreign policy aspirations are not only foreign policy. This is something that defines our internal reform agenda. And internal reform agenda is quite extensive. We set education as #1 priority for the country, matching the gaps between demand and supply of education system. We set professional education as the high priority according to German, Swiss, Austrian dual education system. We set governance reform as one of the highest priorities, taking experience from Estonia on e-governance, unified front office, one-stop shop solution concept, and we liberalized our tax system starting from January 1st of this year, abolishing profit tax and taxing only dividends. We are doing massive investments in the infrastructure modernization, and again, we have important regional projects as we are at the crossroads between Europe and Asia and Russia and Middle East. So regional cooperation and regional stability remains a cornerstone for the stability in our region. At this quite challenging backdrop. We are trying to give some example of using all resources to create enough stability in order to provide long-term development prospects for our countries. Thank you.
So to the Georgian Prime Minister, the NATO question relevant for you, of course, given long-standing interest in joining and a challenging process to get there. How relevant is that to you today, and what does the Russia relationship look like for you going forward?
Thank you. First of all, let me recall briefly history of Georgia's 5-day war with Russia. It happened in 2008. We held the line, but we are a small country, and therefore we ended up with Russian military bases back to our soil. Geneva International Discussion format has been created. We have international organizations. We have OSCE, you have European Union. We have UN present at the format, but unfortunately, with very little or almost no progress for several years. So it took 6 years after that until Russia repeated it in Ukraine. So there is a lesson that we can draw out from this, that the cornerstone principle for bringing stability, not in our region, but throughout the continent, is territorial integrity. And revisiting borders of the countries is extremely dangerous. So we are in a situation now when we have fences on our territories, we have ethnic Georgians captured almost every day for occasionally crossing the so-called borders. We have ethnic Georgians deprived of the right of mother language education. And despite our very constructive and consistent approach and steps, especially starting from 2012, we had some progress in economic dimensions, but we have absolutely no progress in political dimensions. We have treaties of integration with so-called Abkhazia and South Ossetia. We have swallowing the law enforcement and military structures of Abkhazia and South Ossetia into the Russian administrative space. And this process is going on. What is the remedy for this solution? Unfortunately, I have no answer. The only virtual answer I may give will be the unity of civilized world against threats like this. And the NATO membership for Georgia is not something the nation is preoccupied by, but this is a family of countries with certain values and principles where Georgia feels it belongs. And again, as I said, this is not a foreign policy aspiration for Georgia, but it defines the existential needs for Georgia, and it defines the internal DNA for Georgia's reforms. So NATO is something we believe we belong to, and European family is something we believe we belong to. And we are very gradual, very consistent, but also very patient. And we believe that there will be someday a window of opportunity for Georgia, provided we stay consistent and dedicated on this path, but also constructive. We try to send messages that we don't want any membership for hostility. We want our territorial integrity to be restored, and we want our sovereignty to be realized. And the sovereignty is sovereign decisions of the nation to belong to one or another club. And we have made our decision. Thank you.
Georgian Prime Minister is going to have to leave us in a couple of moments to get to the airport. I want to give him the last word before he does, and then we'll move to questions. Please, some closing thoughts from you, sir.
Thank you. First, I'd like to take this opportunity and say a couple of words about the One Belt, One Road project, which brings enormous drive to the region. And this is about new investments. This is about investments not only in hard infrastructure, but also in soft infrastructure. This is about more mobility, and mobility brings more people-to-people interaction, and therefore it brings more stability. So this is extremely important project. This is about redistribution of manufacturing facilities throughout the continent. So we are eager to engage in every possibility we have, and we are engaged, as it was mentioned by President Aliyev, in Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway project. We are modernizing our highways, building new energy facilities, and we have new investments coming from China. So this is about more partnership rather than competition. So we are absolutely happy, and I would like to take this opportunity and thank you for inviting me to this panel. And we very much hope that there will be more stability on the Eurasian continent. Thank you very much.